Good morning. This is your gentle wake up on Daily Gains. I'm Pastor Joseph and
I'm Pastor Jared. Welcome to Daily Gains.
Well, this is the gentle wake up. We don't have to ding dong it in, but we can make it, a slow warm up.
That was like the bird. Little bird wake up.
There we go. Okay. I like it. I don't know if I'll repeat it, but I will try my best to be gentle. I'm just a bubbly person in the morning, so I'll try to. I'll try.
I hope you guys are doing well this morning.
And amen. You ready to go repeat?
Yeah, let's do it. We're going to be in Psalm 127 this morning, right?
That's it. All 5 verses.
Sounds good. Let's see if I can forget one.
Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain.
Unless the Lord builds a house, those who build it labor in vain.
Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain.
Unless the Lord watches over a city, the watchman stays awake in vain.
It is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest.
It's in vain that you rise up early and go late to your rest.
Eating the bread of the anxious toil, for he gives to his beloved sleep.
Eating the bread of anxious toil, for God gives his beloved sleep.
Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb are... Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb a reward.
Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb, a gift from the Lord.
Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth.
Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth.
Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them.
And blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them.
He shall not be put to shame when he speaks with his enemies in the gate.
He shall not be put to shame when he speaks with his enemies in the gate.
May God bless the reading, hearing, and living out of his word. We did it, Psalms 127.
Woohoo!
That's right. Sound like a rocket blasting off. That's this random bird flying by.
I got my window open. It must have gotten in.
Gotcha. It's
a nice morning.
So it is. This one starts off with a whole bunch of unless.
Mm-hmm. Kind of the biblical hypothetical. That's not a theological term.
So what popped out for you as we seek to gain?
This whole treatise here on anxiety, which is really a treatise on trust. It's really a treatise on
relationship.
Yes, and within that, the true locus of control, right? If God's not doing something, then it doesn't matter whether or not you stay up late or get up early. It doesn't matter if you're... I love the picture of eating the bread of anxiety. It's like, hey, I'm hungry. I know, I'll go satiate it by eating more anxiety. It's like eating a tub of lard while you're trying to lose weight. It's completely counterproductive. And yet the picture here is someone who is so consumed with an outcome that they desire, whether they're afraid of a different potential outcome or they feel a strong driving sense of responsibility to make sure that the outcome comes out the way that they want it to, in a good way, which is a good thing. And yet it can drive us completely to try to supplant the place of our loving Father. And that's really the picture. You're talking about relationship. And I think about my kids. I was with my son the other day. He wanted to go roller skating around the neighborhood. I'd had a long day, and he's roller skating. I'm walking, and he's asking me if I'm tired. I said, yeah, I'm definitely tired. And he starts saying, well, it makes sense because you always seem to be tired in the evening when we get home from school. I said, yeah, well, that's true. And he says, I also get tired. I work really hard at school and you do your work. So it makes sense that you'd be tired. And I said, yeah, that's true. But also, you probably don't know that I get up at 5 in the morning. And the first thing I do is I start doing chores. And then I get you up an hour and a half later. And I continue doing chores, getting you ready for school, making sure that you have everything that you need, making sure that house is ready to go. And then as soon as you leave for school, I immediately start my work. And I'll stop for lunch sometime between 1 and 2 for about 20 minutes. And I really won't stop working during that time. I'll just find something else I can work on while having my food. And then I'll continue working until 5 o'clock if you guys get home at that time so that I can come and help you with your homework, which is still work for me. And I just walk them through this whole process. And by the time we get to the end of it, it's really clear that my days are like 18 and 19-hour days with me working 17 to 18 of those hours. And his day is 6 hours in school with like an hour and a half of rest in there. And I'm like, yeah, I totally get that you're tired. I'm tired because I'm working much harder than you, which is the way it should be because I'm the one providing for you. It'd be terrible if he got up in the morning the next day and was like, hey, I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock. I'm going to get up at 4:30. I need to beat dad up because, he works really hard and he's not cutting it. I need to make sure that the chores are getting done. I need to make sure everyone's up in time for school. I need to make sure the laundry's done, blah, blah, blah. That'd be terrible. What kind of father would I be?
Mm.
And God looks at us and he says, hey, I'm a good dad. I get that you're afraid. I do. But I got you. But the thing that makes me sort of scratch my head about this, I'm scratching my head for those of you watching on YouTube, is that what's immediately followed by this is the discussion about children being a heritage and inheritance from the Lord. Now, I don't know about you, Dave, but I kind of feel like, and it's definitely my observation, that the more kids you have, the more anxiety you have. Like one kid, parents are pretty stressed out. Once you get to 2, 3 kids, it's like, okay, the stress drops down. But once you get above that, it's like, okay, the stress magnifies over and over again. And then once they hit the teen years, like stress goes into overdrive. And once they get out of the teen years and they're in the young adult years, it's like stress is that's just a constant state of life. So it's really interesting to me that these ideas are laid down side by side because I think that at least a part of what's going on here is God is intentionally starting with anxiety as a big picture, but then zooming that in and saying, now the anxiety that you feel for your kids as a parent, understand that I have that too. This is a total reframing and a very comforting way to start by saying, hey, I got you. And then to reach in and touch specifically on the thing that may be causing the most people the most stress and anxiety and say, I really do understand. And I really do have this. And I think it's really gracious of our Father.
Mm. Similar verse, same verse. I'm curious what the bread of anxious toil tastes like, just because I'm really a 6-year-old hiding in a grown man's body.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it's both bitter and sweet, or else we wouldn't keep eating it. Um, but I'm also recognizing it's, because we're going through Ecclesiastes, the difference between anxious toil and toil. Um, Knowing that staying up late, rising early, are not the gifts God has for us, but He does give us rest. And this coming from, a song of going to the house of worship, a place to rest. So I think for me, it's, hey, am I resting well? Am I taking time to Sabbath? Am I taking time to get before God. This isn't simply going to church on Sunday. This is, out of relationship. Am I trusting God with the work? Am I trusting God with His provision? And am I content? I think that's another thing that resonates with me is just, can I be content with what He has for me and not everything that I want for myself and whatnot? Because unless the Lord builds the house,
Yeah, for sure.
you labor in vain. So yeah, at least for me today, the challenge is to take some time to reflect on the labor and be respectful of um, the opportunities God places in front of me, with the knowledge that sometimes you have to choose between an apple and an orange. Like there's no bad choice, but then there are other
Right.
things that are not meant for me and are part of the bread of anxiousness. And I don't need to take a second bite of that.
Right. Yeah. It's hard though, isn't it?
It's very hard. I mean, I think we end up, just to beat this analogy to death, I think we end up making time to make the bread of anxiousness without even thinking about it, because there's so much to consume now, and you don't want to feel left out, and you don't want to miss out. Yeah.
It's definitely true for me.
Ooh, light morning.
That is right.
Goodness. Psalms 127. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil. For He gives to His beloved sleep. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb, a reward. Like an like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them. He shall not be put to shame, and when he speaks with his enemies in the gate.
That's an incredible promise. It's an incredible hope. We will not be put to shame when we speak with our enemies. Is that what it says? The enemies
Yeah,
in the
the
gate.
enemies in the gate, not even at the gate, in the gate.
Yeah, no, it means we're sitting down to talk. This is where counsel's going on. We're sitting down talking with our enemies, and we're not going to be put to shame. There's not going to be anything concerning us. That's wow. I hope you guys have a great morning. We will see you again this afternoon.
Lord willing, rapture could occur.
Chew on this some more, as I apparently am as well. We love you guys. You can reach out to us at dailygains2@gmail.com. You can like and subscribe and share and all those things if you want to. That'd be
Please.
great.
We love it.
Yeah, it would be.
Super thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Have a great, great morning.
Bye-bye.